shit, I just realized I started the wrong introduction, guys.
Did you?
Yeah,
There's a new one for the cooldown.
Cooldown, yeah.
I was literally waiting for it myself.
This guy.
Shit, man.
You're killing us, man.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, definitely. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the Cool Down. Yeah, and gentlemen, we've got Wongadeng in the house. We've got Selo Lolo Kale, and of course, Nicholas Stothard, who might be distracted as the show goes by. We cannot reveal as to why, but just know he might be distracted.
Take it easy, boys. Take it easy.
How are you gentlemen doing?
All good, man. All good. Sorry, I had to cut off the last time, but obviously, we live in South Africa. I had load shedding last week, but yeah, I'm back.
It was the four of us. It was the four of us in the show. I think we were all having issues. As soon as you dropped, I was out. Then Claudio was out. Then Wonga was on the show by himself. He's like, I just saw from the outside. He's like, oh shit, I think I'm the only one in the show now.
Yeah, he's busy manning the ship there, one man. Well, at least we know you can manage the driving seat there, Wonga.
Yeah, but that was the only time. Like, when everyone else has issues, mine is the one that's working. Like, even now, I've gone off my Wi-Fi literally right now because it starts to jump. I don't know. Yes.
Technology is not with us sometimes, man.
Not at all.
No. Okay, but gentlemen, let's kick the show off. Let's start with the first topic, and I think it's one we should be covering largely because it's obviously the Olympics currently happening, and the game that happened on Sunday, France versus South Africa. What a game! What a unfortunate result from our side. And I say unfortunate, and I'm being nice when I say that. I think some players did well, but I think the game was completely mismanaged. That's from my side. But I'm going to open up the floor to see what you guys think.
That was a good game. I think if you're a neutral watching that game, 7-goal thriller. First half 0-0. South Africa were all over France. They should have gotten a goal. They missed a penalty. Luther Singh missed a penalty. Man
didn't look confident when he was going up. I said straight away this guy's going to miss it.
He didn't look confident, and I wish the striker, Evidence Mahopa took the penalty. I think he had a great game. He got his deserved goal. He hit the post. He was just lively up front there for South Africa. And I think Luther shouldn't have taken the penalty. Even Teboho Mokoena could have taken the penalty. But I guess they'll learn from this. In terms of what the performance. But I think the biggest thing I think we can take from that game, especially, is that the fact that you pick overage players, right, to obviously add to the team, right? Mm-hmm. I think they missed the trick by not picking an overage centre back. I think they could have picked an overage centre back, someone who's maybe who's a bit more established within the Bafana team. Whoever that person is, it could have even been Tyson, even though Tyson hasn't had the great season with Pirates, but at least someone just to be a leader in the center of defense. I think that's where we needed leadership, in the center of defense, because what just happened is that we score a goal and they score within 5 to 10 minutes, which wasn't on. And I think we showed great character to continuously try and attack and get those goals. And even at the end, that Luke Fleur's guy, he could have scored a goal and could have been a 4-4 and hit it over the goals.
Yeah.
He's a
proper centre back.
Yeah,
proper centre back clearance.
And he had a great first half. He kept Gignac quiet in the first half, but second half, and I think him and Tertius Malepe just and just the whole defense and just in general, there's certain things that both could left back could have done. Right back, Refrost for the first goal. Second goal, the left back, centre back.
I thought the left back, Mohamed, I thought it was pretty decent. For me, the two standouts were Singh and Mohamed from my side, in terms of when you're looking at which players were thinking a lot more. When I looked at a player like Singh, I could see he's been practicing or he's been playing overseas, because his touches were on point. He was thinking about what he was going to do before. One of the goals, he took a quick free kick, and I was like, definitely on par in terms of development and stuff. He was definitely above what am I saying? He was above the rest. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. And then when I'm looking at Mohamed left back, I'm looking at a player like that. I'm going, physically, the man can go play overseas. So those are the two for me. I don't know what you guys thought in terms of any other prospects.
But Kodisang, man. Kodisang plays for Braga's reserve team. That kid made his debut in the PSL at the age of 15. at the age of 15. He made his debut for Platinum Stars. He scored the first goal, and he had a couple of nice touches. He also created the goal for Makopa. I think he definitely needs to move to a because he's playing for Braga's reserve side right now. I think he's 21 years old. He needs to move into the first team. But I think, yeah, definitely Mohamed did play well. And Singh, apart from the penalty miss, he played very well as well. And Kele also played well. There's rumors of Porto looking at him. But yeah, there's a couple of players that did play well. I think Makopa as well. He's rumored to go to Pirates. So yeah, Nick, I was impressed with your left back there, man. He did the job. He did the job, except for obviously that one goal. But apart from that, man, he was great in the first half, and he shut it down on the left hand side.
So let me correct you quickly. He's not our player anymore. He's been sold to Sundowns. Yeah,
Sundowns. Yep.
But
I could have told you guys that, but I wasn't sure if that was confirmed.
If I'm honest with you, yeah, I'll probably keep my opinion to myself. Yeah, I personally feel differently. Obviously, just worked with the player. I don't know if the attitude is...
No, be honest. Yeah, I want to hear this.
If the attitude is... Yeah, but I don't want to speak out of turn because I'm in the industry, so this could come back to bite me.
No, just speak about his performance on Sunday.
No, I watched a little bit... I watched bits and pieces. I thought he could have done better for the one goal. I think he needs to stop the cross there. I think he's not the quickest player, so he shouldn't actually be racing with the right winger. I don't know if his best position is left back though. He played centre back for us. I think him playing in a 4 as a left-footed centre back is okay, but I find that he doesn't have the sort of and he's not as dynamic as you would like as a coach. So he likes to play this tiki-taka style of football, which, if we're honest, if we're going to play the best teams in the Olympics, we're not going to be able to match them. And I think that's been proved already in this sort of tournament. So listen, he's a good footballer. He earned a sort of move to Sundowns. From what I hear, he's going to be immediately loaned out. So I don't know who actually concluded the deal. But funny you say that, Claudia. He actually spent 2 seasons in Portugal. So he does have that stature. He's a big boy, technically comfortable. And I think that's what earned him a move abroad when he was, I think, 18 or 19. But just in terms of the whole performance from South Africa, I was slightly disappointed. I think if it's funny, you actually look at the whole Olympic weekend, both hockey matches, include if you want to include the rugby, and then you want to include the box against the Lions, and then this France game. We haven't been able to manage the matches, and we've been in positions to win the game. I think the hockey was 3-0 up against the Netherlands, and they ended up losing 5-3. 5-3. You know, for me as a coach, you know, if you
they still had a penalty. They had a penalty where they could have taken the lead again.
And a one-on-one. We hit the post.
If we look at it like this, we've gone in the lead 3 times and we've lost the game. So, you know, I look at myself as a coach, and the blame solely has to lie on me. If I'm in David Notwana's position, obviously, you know, he'll probably back up his decisions. I hear he came out in the media. Apparently, there was a sub of some sort that was sort of, we took off our best player. Like I said, I watched the game in bits and pieces, and he justified it. And I just don't think you should be coming out and justifying your decisions if they clearly didn't work and you lose the game 4-3. And more than likely, those decisions have knocked us out of these Olympics.
But I think the most bizarre thing for me was, cool, you've gone in each instance, they've taken the lead and they've come back. And obviously, like you said, Telo, you've touched on the fact of the benefit of having an experienced player. You're looking at Gignac. Gignac was the difference for France because that French team was absolute shit. If I'm looking at them, they were slow, they were tired, the heat was getting to them, their touches were all over the place. The goals they gave us were absolute gifts, apart from the fact of that one stunning goal that hit the top corner. The rest of them are all gifts. So I was looking at that, I'm going, this is a tired French side. They are there for the taking.
Old man in goals, that's what it looked like.
Tired. Absolutely tired. But then the worst part about this is you've gone one up and you've conceded. Now you've taken the lead for the final time. There's 7 minutes left on the clock, or I think it was 10 minutes left. Yeah. And what does the guy do? He goes defensive. He takes off his attacking players. He changes the momentum of the game. They concede immediately after that. And now you've really shot yourself in the foot because the momentum's completely gone the other way.
And no one can attack now.
No one can attack. You've killed yourself. Yeah, Wonga.
Yeah, no, for me, I agree with you on that point, Clyde. I think from the get, what worries me is that when you watch a team and you, especially if a situation repeats itself in a game, you wouldn't expect someone to repeat the same mistake over and over again. And South Africa went a goal up and they conceded. Then they went up and they conceded again. Then they went up and then they conceded again. And that for me, if it's happened twice already and it's happened now the third time, you guys are leading now. Surely as guys on the bench now, you guys are saying, look, we've just seen we've been vulnerable twice, and they will know what they need to do, and they should have done it. And obviously they've made the wrong decisions there, and that's why I agree with Nick in terms of saying that, look, manager needs to look at himself and say, look, probably the decisions he made were not the right ones. And in that point with France as well, France were a team for the taking. They maybe they as a team they were horrible. But you could see maybe individuals, like Gignac was running the whole game. He was putting pressure on those defenders. It's not like he was just playing there just for fun, you know. I mean, he was playing. You could see that although maybe they were lacking in, combinations, but they wanted to wait. Well, he wanted to, and that was obvious. And then Souvenirs' effort at the end probably showed it as well. I mean, he's got the ball there, final chance, and you can see his intent. You could see the intent from there. You could almost probably when you watch it, you could almost feel like this guy's most likely going to put it in the back of the net, and there he's done it. And I think that was the difference there with South Africa and the other guys, is that France wanted it more, and they weren't worried about it. But I would like to ask you, I don't know, sorry Nick,
go for it.
Just one more thing I'd like to know is, like, when I look at these teams, right, I'm not sure how much South Africa is involved in it, but if you look at all these players, most of these players, I haven't looked at France in particular, but when they're playing international cups, like your World Cup, your Euros, and then you've got your UEFA Champions League, most of those guys, it's not their first time doing it, you know. They've done it obviously in the development stage. They've done it under, I don't know, I'm not sure when they started the UEFA Champions League, but the World Cup, they've got the young World Cup. They've also got the same for the Champions League as well. I'm pretty sure they've got the same for the Euros as well. But I want to ask, in South Africa, do we have, I mean, the I don't know if you guys know, but do we have the same things for those guys?
So they will qualify for sort of the under-17 World Cup, but I think the last time we qualified was a good 7 years ago. And the thing is, there's an opportunity every two.
Not 7 years ago, but you can
under 17.
No, I'm saying these guys.
Tournament.
I think what we must remember is that these guys have played AFCON under 17 together. So like Singh, Ngobo, Mokoena, Malepe, probably like 8 of those players, right, have played together from under 17 AFCON, made it to under 17 World Cup, made it to under 20 AFCON, made it to under 20 World Cup, and now I've made it to under 20 to Olympics. So this whole team has been, I would say, 7 or 8 players. There's a couple missing, like Foster's missing, Bule's missing.
Yeah,
but there's like,
I think that was a good 6-7 years ago, though. Eh? It was still a long time ago.
But don't forget that they're 23 now, so that's 6 years ago. They were 17. And they made it for under 17.
But I think if you look at what Wonga's saying, though, so they've done it. Yes, they made that tournament. I think it was in Chile. I think that famous video of the goalkeeper who's actually in the squad, Malloy, he runs out and he dribbles everyone. Let me paint a picture for you. There's the captain of that team, Nelson Maluleka. He's not even playing football anymore because there's talk that his age isn't what it actually says it is. So that group, yes, there has been a few that have come through and they are now with the Olympic squad, but it's been riddled with problems all the way through. And I think alluding to what Wonga's saying is they consistently in Europe have these high-level competitions. And the thing is, maybe they're in a fortunate position because they are going to qualify. But even if they're not going to qualify, their qualification process, they're playing against high-level teams. Whereas here, you know, we'll play first. We'll play for an under-17s. I know the format. You play a knockout game to get into a group stages. Do you know how many times we get knocked out before we even get to the group stages for a qualification of a major tournament for under-17s, under-20s? That's boys and girls. But there has been moments and there's been pockets of talent that have come through. And I think it's when the process of actually fostering this talent has actually been at the forefront of it, and politics haven't really been at the forefront. And I'm actually happy you said that, Wonga, because what I read on the morning of the game, City Press article in Sport, the South African football team camp at Tokyo Olympics descended into chaos after head coach David Notwana and team manager Sibam came close to blows. Here's the story.
What?
So I got messages from someone I know. I won't obviously mention who it is, and these were WhatsApps sent to me. The SAFA leadership asked him to account as to why he changed the team for the first game and the team formation. And then apparently that is the reason Mohamed was brought in. So already, regardless of who he selected, who he didn't select, there is complete and utter chaos going on within the group. From a management point of view, from a coaching, and you're at the Olympics, which happens once every 4 years. Who knows? We might not qualify for the next one, and we've got these idiots fighting in the background. So no wonder the results are like this. And, Selo, you can attest, this has been a disease in SAFA since 1997, 98. There's always been issues, with politics, with coaches, with agents, with players, with bonuses, with, and how do you expect us to go on and do something special when we can't get the fundamental administration of our own house in order? So it's very disappointing, because I know, Wonga knows, you all know, there's a lot of talent in South Africa, and it's unfortunate that we sing this song every single tournament. What could have been? What's this? I mean, it's just tiring, actually. It's tiring.
Yeah.
Leading up to the tournament as well, there were rumors about like the selection being political, and from what I've heard as well via the pipeline with certain agents and. So this is just what the icing on the cake, I suppose.
For me, I was saying, like, my main concern is, like Nick said, it's the talent is there in South Africa. We can't deny it. I mean, all those players, they can play soccer, but what I think the other teams at the end of the day, they'll always come over us is the experience in being under pressure in those tournaments. They've done this since they were under 15. They've been playing in these high-profile tournaments. Maybe getting knocked out, losing in those circumstances, but obviously the experience is there. They've been there, and then now they're up here and they're getting the experience. But then those guys you hear, maybe they've played 1 year, and then the next year you don't know what's happening. The next year something's changed, completely different, and that's why I really don't know. I was asking.
Claudio always speaks about the Celo. You also speak about it. You look at those players and look at the clubs that they're playing for, and I can guarantee, I haven't even done the research, but I can almost guarantee that those boys are playing first team football at a professional club. They won't be playing for the reserve team of Braga. They'll be on in the mix for a first team contract at their clubs, their respective clubs, even if it's a second division team. Here in South Africa, you're 23, 24, and you're still a youngster. Claudia, you say it all the time. How are you going to develop? How are you going to develop? I mean, look at the average age of England. Get into a Euro final. The average age was 25. They had real kids in their setup, and we're talking about 23-year-olds. Some of them are over 23 this year. They're 24 because they're allowed for the obviously the
one year,
postponed. But these are not youngsters. Luke Fleurs is what 22. He's broken into the first team. I saw him. We played a friendly against Supersport. He doesn't even start for them. I mean, he maybe comes off. He gets 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and then you expect them to go and play against a France.
And here's the thing, though: the mentality is crippled. So, to your point, here's a 22-year-old who's playing, and he thinks he's got the affordance of making certain amount of mistakes because he's treated as a youngster. Because he's told he's a youngster.
Yeah,
that's the difference. So the maturity and the growth, the mentality is, despite the talent and technical ability in terms of the competition that the player faces day to day, based on what you're saying there, Nick, but mentally the players aren't equipped. So you take a guy overseas. You throw in the conditions of the competition just to get into a side. You throw in the weather conditions. You throw in the payment conditions. It's far easier for our players to be considered youngsters, get their contracts with Sundowns, be part of a squad that's 60 players plus, not play for another 3-4 years, take their payout of 150K a month, and just that's their career, as opposed to going, fuck, let's do our country a nation. Let's do our country a solid. Let's go compete overseas for less cash. Let's actually start creating a flipping gateway for other players to get the opportunity. And there's just no hunger there. And I know there's politics and stuff. That's what I'm seeing from the players. I know I've touched on the Mohamed thing, but if we are going to be critical, I mean, you mentioned the pace thing. Yeah, he gets caught out. But I don't know. There were moments where he was casual on the ball. Maybe it's because it seemed like it was too easy for him. Maybe it seemed like he was a good player. He was fantastic, in my opinion, but it still seemed too casual for him. There was no driving incentive.
I've actually got
difference. Yeah,
I've actually got a blunder reel for him that we've actually created.
Wow.
But yeah, I'll send that to you guys personally.
Still a good player. But I'm just saying,
no,
he's just
because they wanted to loan him back to us, and our head coach had to justify why.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a story for another.
But then just one more topic in terms of the hockey versus the football. If we take the resources that our hockey players get, and when you look, sure, they'll end up losing the game against the world #1 ranked side in hockey. But they were 3-0 up.
Was this against Netherlands, eh?
Netherlands, yeah.
Because they got absolutely smacked today against Belgium. Did you see?
Did they?
No, they did.
9-4.
9-4.
Holy cow.
But even if we forget about the result, like when I'm looking at the conditioning and the resources that the hockey side players have versus the football players, just conditioning, those hockey players are far more conditioned. We look at us. Who's that one player that pulled off the bench? Selo, the skinny guy. He came off the bench. And that guy has never seen the gym in his life.
They manhandled him. Who was he?
Yeah, dude. He came on and they just did this and he fell over. And I was like, this is crazy.
He went up against was it Nkunku from Everton? I can't
he ran into him and just fell over. And I was like, wow, guys. Okay.
Can I ask you a question also just with the South African national teams? And I've noticed this trend, especially when there's FIFA breaks. And say, for instance, sometimes they'll have, if say, for example, there's AFCON, but they'll have a friendly first and then they'll have the AFCON qualifier and maybe the second AFCON qualifier or the World Cup qualifier after that. They'll play 3 games. Yeah. In those friendlies, if you look at those, our strongest nations in Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Egypt, they tend to play their friendlies in Europe. And they tend to play them against European teams or some strong Asian teams, or they play against South American teams that meet them in Europe and they play there. And I've thought about this the other day. We speaking about exposing our team. We play against Swaziland and we play against Malawi and Burkina Faso. And with all due respect to those nations, Ivory Coast are getting to play against a Poland or a Ukraine or a Russia when they have their friendlies. But obviously there's monetary probably issues with regards to that. But, if we can, South Africa can elevate who they play. I remember watching South Africa play against Spain at Soccer City. You don't see those international countries coming to us anymore because it's just a mission first and foremost to fly here. It's a mission for us to get to Europe if we wanted to go there. But I think if we want to compete with the best, we need to be playing the best. We can't be playing against Lesotho and expecting to beat an Ivory Coast to get into a World Cup.
Here's the thing, though, Nick. Here's the thing. With 2010, countries had incentive to play us. Yeah. They had incentive to come out to South Africa, get the conditions under wraps. That was the main thing. Now you're looking at it. Why would you, unless you want to play your real C team international side, why would you give a friendly against a side like South Africa when you're gearing up for the Euros? Personally, if you're Spain and you're going to play the quality of Germany, unless you really got injuries and you want to get. So why would you do that? And that's the other thing. Unfortunately, it's a cycle. It's one of those things where it's just and also the other important thing that we got to remember is logistically, it requires an organization to be professional, to arrange the fixtures, to get the players on board, on tickets, to organize all of that. And then you got to say, when you look at everything, that's one part. That's probably the biggest flaw in our football federation. But I'll let you guys finish off before we move on to the Premier League stuff. Any final thoughts on this?
No, I think just my thoughts on the team. I think first and foremost, firstly the preparations for the squad. Firstly, a player like Takalo Leshabela who plays for Leicester, he I think he got injured or he got something. He just couldn't be picked for the squad. And there's a guy who plays in Portugal. His name is Satole, and he plays a centre mid, and he's doing very well in Portugal for. I forgot the name of the team, but they wear blue.
Belarus.
They wear blue. So he plays. He plays as a centre mid. So there's two South Africans in that team. One obviously he's older, a bit old, like 27, and this one is 23. And he had been bossing the midfield, and they didn't allow him to be picked. So also, I think from a preparation purposes, South Africa, in terms of communicating with other clubs, in terms of to release their players, didn't do well. Cool. France also didn't do well because Kamavinga, so many players didn't get picked. Konate, Fofana from Leicester. There's so many French under 23s that couldn't be released. Cool, yes, not just South Africa, but France as well. But us, if you look at Brazil's got Richarlison. Richarlison playing in the Copa America, and he's still playing in this. Douglas Luiz from
apparently Spain is loaded with Euro players.
Spain has got six players that were in the Euro squad, 5 who in the starting lineup. You know what I mean? So already that shows you how serious they taking the tournament in itself, and they got their best players available. So us, we've got a player in Denmark, Gift Links. He couldn't be picked also. So I think our national association could have done better in terms of to get the players, and then also to get an overage player like Positao, where they could have done better, because a Brighton player is playing for Argentina. That Alexis McAllister guy, he's playing for Argentina in this tournament, and Positao could have been released because Brighton have released another player. So I think we definitely have the tools in terms of these guys have played at the Under-20 World Cup and so on. You know what I mean? While you guys were chatting, I was just trying to make sure which tournament was it where Luther Singh was the leading goal scorer. Luther Singh was the leading goal scorer at AFCON Under-20 together with Patson Daka. Patson Daka has just signed for Leicester City, and he was the leading goal scorer in Austria. Him and Luther Singh scored 4 goals each in the tournament in 2017 Under-20 AFCON, and this guy is now about to play for Leicester. And then the centre mid, who was also in that team, who is now just signed for Brighton. So you can already see Zambia won that tournament. We came third, but 2 of their best players are in the Premier League. Where's Luther Singh? Cool, yes, he's in Portugal, but Luther Singh should be in a top 3 league like the other guys, because he's as good at them then at Under-20. What's happened in the 3 years? You know, is it him personally?
Yes.
Is it what's happening? You know what I mean? You know, we don't have any South African players in top 5 leagues, which is sad. But
just going back to what you said, Selo, you know, I think you're right. I think Safa, more than likely, we won't know. We probably might find out in the near future. But do you think they tried hard enough to get the best players possible?
Yes.
You know, I had an informal discussion with David a year before the Olympics, so it was the end of 2019, and he had said to me, it is so difficult to get in touch with. He was personally trying to get in touch with the clubs. You're telling me these top associations are allowing their head coach to contact clubs? They've got That's 5 ridiculous. Or 6 people doing exactly. So you know, it's
imagine your job's the coach. Now you must try and find out who the PA of this club is, just so I can speak.
And how's it ever going to work? So you know, before SAFA get their house in order, unfortunately, we're going to be disappointed as South African football fans. I personally think.
It's just terrible how backwards we've gone. But you know, they're still there.
Guys, I don't know if you guys are seeing what Arjun is saying. It has been announced. Man United Twitter account has announced that he is right. Here it is. There it is.
But you know, Selo, we were waiting to move this over. You jumped the gun. Firstly, Arjun, thank you for joining us. We're moving now to
But this is breaking news,
we were
guys.
finishing the topic now. Now we're going to talk about United breaking news. You know which one you've got to break to us, Arjun, is when Pogba leaves for PSG. Then you've also got to break that news.
Pogba easy. Hey, that man's going. But they'll be fine without him, I think. But they'll be really great with him.
Yeah, so there we go. Varane officially announced by Man United Champions League.
No, I agree. I agree with what Nick was saying in terms of David Natwani and stuff like that. I think as a country, we definitely need to strengthen SAFA as an association and administratively. We've not done well in terms of that. I think we've got the players. The young players are there. More and more of them are playing in Europe. You know, it's actually baffling that Bradley Cross didn't get considered for the squad. You know what I mean? And he's at Newcastle's reserve team. You know what I mean? So there are players that are doing well, and some of them were just not considered, and some couldn't be released. So that in itself, we're gonna lose like a player like Bradley Cross. We'll lose like the other guy from Southampton as well if we don't get our house in order.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. But I like the fact that you mentioned Southampton. We're going to start now. We are going to be talking about transfer talk and pretty much the status of our clubs. Wonga Denga, this Ben White thing, the £50 million signing, your big, seems like going to be a bigger signing of this window. It's edging closer. Are you excited? Any other news from the Arsenal camp as well?
Oh, it's edging close. I thought it was done. Why am I reading things that it's done? But yeah, it seems like if it's not done, it's going to happen, because that's what I read. It's actually happened, that he's on his way. I think he was on his medical, gone for the medical as far as I remember. But yeah, it's pretty much done. Look, I mean, again, I think the only problem with him was that you paid that, what everyone calls it now, the English tax on him. But you can't look. I mean, I heard Sol Campbell saying that, look, if Arsenal are showing intent to be in Champions League, we've got to go for people like Varane, and who else was it? I think he said Varane. I can't remember the other defender that he named, and he said we must get them both. And I was like, look, I mean,
Varane.
Yeah, so I'm like, look, you know, I think we need to manage. Look at reality. I mean, look, Arsenal, we did not finish top 6 last season. I think we finished mid-table. That's the way our team is at the moment. You've got to be realistic. 50 million, yes, a lot of money, but apparently Arteta, I'm looking at a point of view from Arteta. Arteta wanted the guy. Apparently he's very, Ben White is key in his plans. And he's done everything to get him. So then we'll see from there. I'm hearing there's also rumors with apparently Odegaard is not really successful, having a successful time at Madrid.
He is thinking of coming back. Yeah,
in pre-season. Apparently he played against Rangers, and it was a pretty poor performance, and the talk around there was he doesn't really fit the style that they want going forward. So they might look to sell him back to an English team, is what I read. And then I also heard that Odegaard himself is looking, obviously, I mean, he was at Arsenal, he's experienced it there, so it would make sense for him to go back to Arsenal.
Or it would make sense for him not to go there and go to another English team.
One that's playing in a Champions League, or at least even a Europa League.
Yeah, but I think a guy like Odegaard, I know you guys are joking around, but a guy like Odegaard is looking. He also needs to prove himself, you know. Yes, everyone always sees him as the talent, and he's been the talent since he was 16, you know. So now he's got to prove himself. And where else can you prove it? A team like Arsenal, who've been there, they've got the history there at the club. I think we've got strikers there.
Whoa. Before you throw in like the history as an example or whatever, that's all nonsense. That's nonsense. I think you've got to stop it. I think what is the incentive for a player like Odegaard is he's gone to a club like Madrid, arguably the biggest club in the world at the time of him signing, and he hasn't been given a crack. Nick, focus, man. Focus. I saw you looking up there. Just focus.
Take it easy.
Anyway,
take it easy.
So I'm just going. So like a player like him, a young player who can actually now establish himself in world football, going to a club like Arsenal, sure, they all over the place. But if he can go to the side under Arteta, and Arteta gives him the reins and says, hey, you're going to be a big player for us, and he can take that, and he can go on the field and be the player for them, the number 10 that they need, apart from obviously your new number 10. But you know what I mean? Like the key player for them. That's an incentive for a player like Odegaard.
And I think, looking at, like I was saying, looking at Arsenal's strikers as well. Like with Ozil going, there's obviously left a gap in terms of a created midfielder. Then now we've got Odegaard. He's got a striker in Aubameyang. Like I said, if he stays, there's also another rumor that might go out.
They say Tammy might be coming in.
Yeah, they also say Tammy might be coming in. So so it looks
that
like
would be a good signing for Arsenal, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it looks like they're looking at bringing Tammy in because of, I think, maybe probably Chelsea will be willing to let him go. But I think they said he's they said I read that he was worth. They said he was worth 40 million. I don't know if I read right.
Tammy Brim, yeah, that's correct.
40.
Yes, yeah, 40.
Hey man, Arsenal going to get screwed again. That's what they're going to do. They're going to pay 70 for these shit players.
90 million pounds on Ben White and Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
Just to give you comparison, I think it was...
That's a ridiculous English tax, eh?
Man, I think Liverpool paid, I think it was like 107 mil for Van Dijk, Gomes, Konate, and another centre-half. You guys have spent 110 million on your player that hasn't worked out, the youngster, what's his name? Saliba? Or how do you pronounce his name?
William Saliba, yeah.
William Saliba.
And now it's going to be Ben White and another cuck player that you guys have spent. I'm just like, my goodness, this is crazy.
So, yeah, so I don't want to keep you guys for long, but that's the situation there. But I think Odegaard, sorry, what I was saying, Odegaard, he has those strikers ahead of him. So that's also maybe a nice incentive to go back there. Arsenal inquired, they said they inquired about Lautaro Martinez, the striker from Inter Milan. But again, if he was
you know,
hey guys, I'm just giving you facts.
Hey, guys, come on, no, but he's valued at 100 million pounds, so that's why I'm laughing. Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, it's true, and that's why I just say they just inquired about him. And then there was interest about Lacazette. Lacazette leaving the club. It looks like Atletico Madrid. They said they had interest in him before, and they revived that. And it looks like he's got Lacazette's also got 12 months left on his contract. So it's either renewal or the man leaves.
Price? I think it's like 14 million pounds or something.
Yeah, it was like around about 30 before, but obviously now they said they've halved it, so it's like about 15. Yeah, and to answer Arjun's question there, I'm really not too sure, to be honest with you. But I'd prefer, look, Odegaard played well. I'll take him. I looked at, I haven't seen Awa play, but I looked at the stats. Apparently he's had, in terms of creativity, he had 7 in his previous 2 seasons. He had, what did they say he managed to do? I can't remember, but it's like something like he's only got 7 in the previous 2 seasons rather than the first season where he had, I think, double the amount, something like that. 7 assists in 50. He had 7 assists in 55. So I don't know if that's. I mean, look, if you're looking at replacing Ozil, that's what you're looking at. So I don't know. I'd rather give Odegaard a try. I saw him and I liked what I see at Arsenal. But yeah, we're in a difficult spot. It's a big gray area. We don't know who can fill it. Well, I actually do know the players, but we can't get those players. We can't get Messi. We can't get Ronaldo. So
maybe next season, end of the season, Ronaldo is leaving on a free transfer. Nick,
yeah, but that's us.
Newcastle. Let's hear the Newcastle rap there.
I think what happens with Arsenal actually dictates whether or not we get Willock. So he's expressed interest to come back. I think Maitland-Niles is also another one. They want to try and get both of them, but I think we would have to buy one of them. So I'm not too sure how that would work. But from what I saw, Maitland-Niles was one of the better players towards the end of the season for West Brom. And then Lamina from Southampton. I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he's any good.
He's a holding midfielder. He's good. So, he is good. He's not bad on the ball. He's hard in the middle park. I think he'd be a good player for Newcastle.
I was speaking to Jason the other day. He said he was an attacking midfielder or a wide player.
I've just seen him playing deeper lately. Okay. Maybe that's just how they were using him.
So is he decent? Is he decent?
Jason knows him. Jason knows him. Yeah, Lamina.
Yeah, he was playing for Fulham, and then he previously played for Southampton, and he's played for Juventus even.
He's at Southampton now. So yeah, apparently we're in for him. And then that's the exciting sort of news from us. We apparently also looking. I don't know, Selo, you might know a bit about this, but apparently Man United have offered Twinzebe to us on loan. And from what I've seen of him, I think he's pretty good. But yeah, I'm not too sure.
Are you willing to do a buy one get one free? So if you guys, we give you Twinzebe, we give you guys Jones for free.
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Are you sure?
Actually,
Are you sure? Are you sure? Man? Like,
Nah.
we really need to get
Jones
it
will
off
be a
that.
big player there, man.
We
He'll
need
be a big
to
player.
let go of Jones, but Zeb will be a proper deal between the two, and we just add Jones as a plus one.
Jones might be the only player to leave Man United and go straight to the Championship. I don't think that's ever happened before, because that guy, he's past his sell-by date. I think quite a long time ago. Apparently, he's injury prone. What do you think about that?
It's not that he's injury prone. I think the fact that when he played against PSG for the last season, the first group game where he pocketed Mbappe, it was his first Man United match in like probably quite a while. It's because he had been coming off a 4 or 5 month injury, but last season he was available, and when he did play, he played very well. I think the problem was Solskjaer never really rotated his squad that well. Harry Maguire played freaking all the games to a point where when a player did get a chance, then they didn't have that match readiness because they never played. You know what I mean? We always spoke about this thing last season where we spoke about players like your Donny van de Beeks and your Gareth Bales. These guys don't get the minutes, but when they do get a start, they don't look that great. It's because they hadn't played for bloody 2 months.
Is he? Because if I'm not mistaken, is he a centre back? Because I've seen him play on the sides as well.
Yeah, he can play right back.
He's covered there.
He's centre back who can play right back. He's very strong and quick. I think you'd add a lot of quality to your defense. Partner him up with your captain. I think it will be obviously Steve likes to play a back 10, so he can be in the middle of the back 10.
Yeah, you can be the flipping pivot there. But looking at it, if you add in a Maitland-Niles, I don't think we would get all of them. I think I'll be a fool to say we would. Maitland-Niles, Willock, and a Lemina, maybe even Twenzebe, and we don't have any outgoings. I think that adds a bit of quality to us. If you can keep Maximum fit and Almiron fit, Fraser, who knows? But yeah, let's see.
Speaking about injuries, Oaks, I just saw the headline you guys sent. And it reminded me of the old Arsenal story. What the hell was Rooney? What happened in the training session with Rooney?
Don't
know the details.
He's only got 9 players, so he's training.
Yeah,
but how like? Oh, I'm just saying, does anyone know the details in the whole situation? Like what happened? Like
no, also there were 9. There were 9. He has 9 players registered for Derby at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but he added to training for numbers simply because they didn't have enough numbers for training. That's and he got stuck into one of the players 50-50 challenge and put him out for 3 months.
Clearly didn't like him.
So now he's got 8 players, and he might just have to register himself for the first couple of games. And he's probably got this. He's got to sort this issue out with his wife.
What is she saying?
Hey, don't you guys know, man? The fact that
you know?
Yeah, hey,
some girls released photos of him with him like partying in a hotel room.
But he was drunk.
He was sleeping.
He was like hammered, and they took videos and stuff of him.
Like Snapchat videos and pictures.
Basically, he was basically not very much conscious, you know what I mean? And
he was not very much conscious.
No, but Cello, don't defend him. In the one, he's kissing that girl. In the one, he's actually making out with that woman.
No, but guys,
just
what is
Google
the Colleen Rooney and the...
I read something about Rebecca Vardy.
Yes,
yeah, they had an issue because Wayne Rooney tried to have something with Rebecca Vardy, and then Colleen Rooney told Rebecca Vardy that she's a liar. Oh, they're all crazy.
Also, guys, is Ronaldo in the same company as Giggs and Rooney? Because Algin's saying they're all slippery characters, but Ronaldo, is this like a fair thing, or because he hasn't been caught, but he hasn't been caught in the same manner, has he?
Giggs, no. Giggs, we need to separate him. Him and Dre Barton are in the same boat. I think Rooney and Ronaldo, we can pair them together, but Giggs and Dre Barton they're too far gone, man. Don't
forget Flanagan. Don't forget Flanagan. He's in that conversation as well.
They physically assaulted women, Joey Barton and Giggs, which is wrong, whereas Giggs and whereas Rooney has just apparently cheated on his wife, so which is not.
And then the Sigurdsson, do you see the news? I don't know if it's been confirmed that it was him with regards to one of the Everton players, 31-year-old, being arrested for minor. You know what I mean?
Hectic.
Minor?
Doing things with a minor.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, let's get back onto the football conversation. Selo, Man United. What else? I mean, there's a variety of things coming in. You got Sancho, you got Varane. So far, the best transfer signings of the window, I'd say. Best performance from a club in terms of signings, no?
Yeah, no, I think it is. It's encouraging, man. I think we've been crying out for this for quite a while. I think the last time we had such a good transfer window was when we signed Pogba and Mkhitaryan and Zlatan in the same window. That was the last time, which is 6 years ago. Not 6 years ago. Sorry, 5 years ago. Was the last time we had a decent window. So it's positive. But it's not over at the end of the day. I think we still need to sort out the defensive mid issues. We cannot be going into matches with a pairing of McFred. We need to have a solid, we need to have a solid.
Just play Phil Jones there. Jones will do the job for you,
bro. He used to tackle guys with his head,
guys. And the crazy thing is, when we signed Phil Jones, right? 10 years ago, right? Rafael Varane was being targeted in terms of Alex Ferguson wanted to sign Rafael Varane from Lens for £3 million at that time, right? And then what happened was he decided to go to Real Madrid at that time because he felt that Real Madrid was a better club for him. And that same window, guys, we signed Phil Jones for £15 million. So imagine £12 million
Blackburn.
The difference in pricing. Cool, yes, he was amazing at Blackburn. I won't lie, he was great and stuff like that. But look at it, 10 years down the line. Look at their careers. These guys are the same age, 20, about 28 years old. They're 28. They were 18 10 years ago. And look at the careers and how it's unfolded. And imagine if we just had gotten Varane 10 years ago when Fergie wanted him. It would have been amazing.
He would have won any Champions League trophies, and he would have been being released right now like Jones.
No, he would have made us a better team.
Jones is probably saying the same thing. Could you imagine I went to Real Madrid and went to Zidane? Shit, I could have had 3 Champions League trophies.
Full Jones. But it's a great window. But also, I think we still need to sell. We definitely need to sell Jesse Lingard. I think we need to get a £25 million for him. 25 million pounds for him.
Yeah, and he must leave.
Great. Salah Andres Pereira, Salah and Nemanja Matic. So I think we definitely need to sell those 3 players and maybe get like 40 million pounds for those 3 players in total. That would be great, and that can go towards a defensive midfielder, which we definitely do need. And around the Pogba issue, I think it's I think there have been reports, from differing sources and so on. I think you need to be careful of those sources that's saying that he's spoken to PSG. Fabrizio Romano, I was watching a show yesterday. He said that Pogba has not spoken to PSG at all. Mino Raiola has not spoken to PSG at all. So let's see what happens. Yes, things could still happen. We're not saying it won't happen, but currently there has been no communication between Pogba's side and PSG.
But the talk isn't that the communication's taking place. The talk is that PSG are ready to start having the conversations. That's the talk I've been reading.
No, but also there's been sources that said that there has already been talk between his camp, which is not factual. I think let's see what happens in the coming weeks or so. But I still feel that thinking about Mino Raiola as a agent and how he operates, Pogba's free in a year's time. How much money can you make from Pogba being free in a year's time? You can make so much money. You get your agents fees that can be double what you would get now. Pogba can get literally 75% more. He can probably get 600,000. He can get what Bale gets, like £600,000. If he leaves in a year's time, as opposed to now where a team needs to still pay a transfer fee and then still give wages, you know what I mean? So I think clubs could be looking at that. And Mino Raiola, guys, Mino Raiola has made lots of money off this Donnarumma deal. He's made 10 million. He's made 10 million pounds or 10 million euros. Donnarumma's dad made 10 million euros as well, and Donnarumma's pocketed 14 million over for his contract per year. So you see already there's a template. You know what I mean? Similarly, Erling Haaland next year is going to
all I'm hearing
continue as well.
is Stelo is justifying, like he's trying to keep his mind sound as to why Pogba will stay. That's all I'm hearing. He's finding all the right arguments as to why he'll stay. I don't know.
Hey,
Are there any other names? Stelo, are there any
It'd be
other
interesting
names?
if you're correct.
But the rumors, okay. But the rumors in terms of our midfield options, there hasn't been anything very much sticking in terms of that. There was the Kamavinga issues earlier on, but I think Kamavinga, he is looking towards Madrid a bit more, but he's not set on Madrid as yet. So there's no concrete to say we're gonna go for this player or that player. Declan Rice is too expensive. Ruben Neves has been mentioned before as well. Let's see what happens, but we need to sell to buy. That's the story that's coming out of Old Trafford right now, guys. Is to sign more players, we need to sell. So
well, that makes sense, right? I think
that makes sense.
I mean, you've already spent the cash up front. You've spent it on
Exactly.
Sancho and
exactly. So we basically already spent probably 110 million pounds on these two players, 74 plus 34. Which is it's about 108 million pounds, on two players, which is cool, no problem. But then I think definitely we need to sell to buy. So let's get the 40 million for Jesse, Pereira, and Matic, and then let's go and buy someone for 40 million.
Yeah.
And then your side. I saw a rumor, not a rumor, but I saw what's that page called? Is it Enfield Watch or Enfield whatever? Enfield, there's a thing, man. It's like a big one that says that Liverpool won't be making any more signings, and I'm like, no centre mid.
Can I tell you something about the Liverpool fans and all these forums that they are so there's no middle ground. There's either or. They're either crazy fanatical and ridiculous on the one side, and then vice versa. There's nothing down the middle. They get too excited and they get too angry. That's the interesting thing. I think from a Liverpool perspective, there are two things in terms of patterns with regards to FSG in terms of how they've gone about their business in the past. That's when there's a player that they really, really want and the manager says this is the player they really want, they go and get them and they get them early and they spend the money up front. When there aren't options that they're 100% sure about, they first move out the players and then see what there is. Before the end of the window, they will have signed a player, that's for sure. They've already sold Grujic for 10, 12 million pounds. They've already sold Wilson with an academy player with a 15% sell-on clause, which now they're already sitting 24 million pounds that they've just pocketed off two players that haven't even played for Liverpool. They're looking at Shaqiri moving out for 50 million pounds. There's talk about Origi going out.
Yeah.
There's another 3 or 4 players. So there's talk that by the end of this window, they would have raised 80 million pounds in selling players, French players. So guaranteed they will sell at least a player. The names being linked to the Liverpool. The most surprising one for me has been Jared Bowen from West Ham. He's been on the
who said that? Who said that? Someone said it. Do you remember? Aman. I think Aman said that, right? Aman said that on Discord. I think Aman said that on Discord.
I think it was
saying,
Aman.
It was Aman. Yeah, it was Aman on Discord. I was like, hey, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the most surprising one for me. But the other ones is AC Milan, the Frank Kessie player. Chiesa, apparently they've inquired about him. But
Chiesa,
dude, he's incredible. But I think they rejected 80 million pounds. And also Juventus have rejected 80 million pounds, but they don't even own the player. They've signed him on a 2-year loan with an option to buy. So I don't understand how this works.
Obligation from Fiorentina. So he's on a 2-year loan. So this is the second year of his loan. So they paid 2 million first year, and then they pay 8 million the second year, which is this season, and then they have to pay another 40 million to Fiorentina, and then there's add-ons if there's certain things target like 7 add-ons. So it's probably going to be about 57 million euros from Fiorentina.
Yeah.
Which
is already. I mean, for me, Chiesa, like if I'm looking at Juventus, they can't afford to let that player go because when I'm looking at the current squad, he is it for them. Ronaldo leaves end of the season. There's no other better player there. So I don't see that happening. But then the loudest noises for a Gini replacement is Saul Niguez there from Atletico Madrid. But apparently he's also being linked with Man United from the talk. So those are the names currently. But yeah, like I said, one player will come in by the end of the window. That's for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's true. That's true.
Jordy Henderson, are you gonna give him a new deal or what?
Yeah, please give him, man. Eh? He deserves it, man. Come on. Eh?
You know, all these things don't hinge on what Klopp thinks, and this is also where it gets a bit.
You never walk alone, but they're letting him alone. Eh? Yes.
But this is where it gets conflicting.
What
I
a
think
family club you guys are.
Family club.
You're right, Wonga. It's not a family club anymore.
Nah,
No,
just
but
like,
this is
cheers.
where I think Brendan Rodgers had the fallouts in the past. Remember the whole transfer committee and he wants full control of things. And I think Klopp's been better. And Klopp's always been good in saying, look, he's not the expert, so he's going to work with what he wants. But when there is something that he wants or someone that he wants, they actively work and go after that and they pursue it. But in this sort of case, I think it's a known, and again, it's transfer patterns. It's a known policy. If FSG don't spend money on players who get to a certain age, it's that whole money ball concept, and they're not gonna. If they've been doing it, it's brought the club success. Why would they change it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
He must do a retire at Sunderland and try and get them back into the championship.
Yeah, definitely he must.
I saw.
He must go join Lee Cattable. Lee Cattable, wherever he is, must go back and they must do.
Lee Cattable went to go play in the second
Oh my
division
goodness.
of Holland, I think.
No, they need to get the
Wow.
band back, and then if Adam Johnson is out
You
of
mean
prison
Lee
as well,
Platamol?
he can also get in.
Platamol.
He can also get in there if he's out of prison.
But I saw Jamie O'Hara's come out saying he hopes that Tottenham could sign a player like him. But they said, talking about Henderson, but he's like, realistically, if he had to leave Liverpool, he wouldn't go to Spurs. I don't know what you
No.
guys think about that.
Nah,
I don't
it's
think he'll go to
madness.
an English club. Yeah,
Nah,
he
he
wouldn't.
must go outside of England to make some money. I think.
He would do well at Atletico Madrid, personally speaking.
Just
I think.
do what Ramsey did.
Yeah, true. He would.
Oh yeah,
if
you're
you
right.
guys-
You would.
And did you see? Obviously today that Jules Koundé is apparently might move to Chelsea. So it'll be Kurt Zuma plus money for Koundé because I think
Yes.
he's about valued about 60 million euros by
Yes.
Sevilla. So it would be maybe let's say a 50 million euros plus Kurt Zuma for him.
But did you see what?
He's 22 years. He's 22 years old, and he's been playing very well for Sevilla in France.
Yeah.
And you know,
Did you see what?
yeah, go ahead.
Did you see what they did? Apparently, they've Chelsea have hijacked Tottenham in
No,
this deal.
but Koundé said he doesn't want to go to Tottenham. Apparently, that's the rumor.
He wants
said
Champions
yeah,
League
but
football.
he said it's Champions League football. That's the rumor. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can't leave
Now.
Sevilla, who's in Champions League, and go to a club that's not Champions League. You need to
Yeah.
go.
But I hear you saying that. But I hear, but it wasn't. That wasn't the situation. They liken it to the same thing that they did with Willian. Apparently, they said that. I hear you saying that now, but they're saying that he was on his way to Tottenham. Well, not that he was. It wasn't as bad as the Willian thing, but they said that no, that Tottenham was the ones inquired. They were getting the deal done, and then Chelsea stuck their foot in, and that's when he's like, "Oh, now he has an option." So rather choose the guys in Champions League.
Wonga, speaking about Champions League, do you know the last time Arsenal were in the Champions League, their coach Mikel Arteta was playing for Arsenal, and their captain was playing for Dortmund against each other in the Champions League.
Oh, hectic. I didn't know. Yeah, it's been a while, eh?
Before we go, final
Yeah.
note before we wrap up. Chelsea obviously heavily linked with the striker. We know this is what they're gunning for. They're prepared to spend over the odds for a striker. Talks obviously Haaland. We know Dortmund probably aren't going to let him go. Lewandowski is the other one. Apparently Lukaku's come out saying he's more than happy to stay at Inter. So realistically, if we're going to play this roulette game with Chelsea, who are they going to land up with as a striker? Bold predictions here.
Yo,
By the sounds of it, it's going to be Lewandowski.
Yeah, I said they got a better chance of signing him.
If Chelsea are going to spend 175 million pounds, does Dortmund realistically say no if they do spend this kind of money?
No.
Do they say no?
I think Dortmund won't say no. I think Dortmund,
Yeah, you're right.
knowing the fact that in a year's time his release clause becomes 75 million, it becomes 100 million less. I think if Chelsea does put that kind of money in front of Dortmund, Dortmund needs to take that money and run and go and use 100 million to buy 2 strikers or something like that.
Yeah, but look at Dortmund, guys. Dortmund do this every couple of years. They've got the best talent. They sell the best talent. Then next year or two, they'll have the next best thing.
They've already signed the
best
player from
scouted-
PSV. What's his name?
Yeah.
Daniel Marlin for 30 million euros. Yeah, to replace
So-
Liverpool are looking at him.
To
Yeah,
Liverpool
so-
looking at him, and they just came in there. Gone.
Yeah, so they, in terms of identifying talent, grooming the talent, and letting them get ready for the biggest stage, they're probably the best club to go to. I mean,
Yep.
look, the best English talent are
even
currently
going there
there.
now.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if it's 175 million pounds, you take it and you run. You run. Like,
Fast.
come on.
So bold predictions, Ed. Is this going to happen then?
No, it won't.
But I don't see them put in 175 million pounds at the table.
Exactly what I was about to say, yeah.
It's too much, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's ridiculous.
All right. And then we have to talk about this.
How much is Lewandowski going to go for?
50.
Yeah,
because he's 30 years old.
And he's a quick fix. He's a quick fix. Chelsea do that. They get those guys in. He does the job for 2 years, and then they sell him for like 10 million pounds, and he'll retire back in Germany or something like that.
And personally speaking, at Chelsea, that's the sort of player they should be getting because that's what the squad needs. They don't need another young player.
Yeah.
They need a
proven goal scorer. Someone 28 and above. Yeah.
Who are you going to speak about here? Harry Kane?
Yes, final one. Apparently, Man City's still going after him. Willie, won't he? Willie?
And Grealish.
Him and Jack Grealish.
And
Grealish, yeah.
If Man City do this, if they manage to pull this off.
No, we need to look at their books.
Yep,
but if they manage to put it off, does anyone have a chance in this league? If they manage to
Man United have a chance.
Nah, we don't. We don't have a defensive mid. We can't go into
Fred
with like
and Phil Jones.
No, man. We have zero chance. We have zero chance.
You got a point, yes.
We need if we sign a defensive midfielder that is well established and great, and can do the job of one man, because we're using two people for one job. You can't. But I think Man City then, hot on favorite. The
difference is, even, Selo, you say that, with all due respect, I think your side will be quality next year, but just the depth that they have is just second to none by a long way to most teams. I mean, they've got at least 2 players in each position and they're comfortable. You put that second team on and they can easily walk the league themselves.
But here's the thing though, if they do sign these 2 players, then I would imagine as Azouj becomes available, Mahrez becomes available, possibly Sterling. Apparently the talk is, and this is also something crazy that I read. They said if Kane goes to Spurs, they will then put up, as a possible exchange to make this happen, they'll put up, who is it? Mahrez, Sterling, and there were 2 other players from Man City's books as a possible exchange to Spurs. And I was thinking, you've thrown 4 names. You've thrown 4 names there and talk about disrupting team chemistry. You've gone, listen, I want this guy so bad, I will throw 4 of you under the bus.
They're lying. That's crazy. They can't
Those players won't want to go to Spurs either, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, also
if I'm in Sterling's
salaries will be reduced.
If I'm in Sterling's shoes and I am being shown the door, I call Liverpool up straight away and go back.
Yeah, it doesn't mean Liverpool take him back. Why are you making that assumption? Liverpool don't do that. Nah.
There was talk.
You burnt your bridge. You don't come back.
There was talk that he wanted to go back.
I sense a bit of sourness there.
There was a bit of sourness.
No, it's not sourness.
But Claudio,
Coutinho's been begging to come back.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. He did mention that he would want to go back?
I think, yeah. He has said that in the past, I think.
You wouldn't take him?
His agent, no, I wouldn't take him back.
He wouldn't start in your team now?
No, of
after
course
this Euros.
Start. No, he wouldn't start.
You would play Firmino ahead of him.
Who are you going to...
You play Firmino. You know, Claudio, he plays Firmino. He doesn't even think about Firmino going out. He's just thinking, no, he won't bench Mane, he won't bench Salah. He doesn't even think about Firmino. He won't bench
Still
Imagine having Salah, Mane and Sterling. That's a hot front 3.
Oh, yes. Interchange play down the middle.
Yeah. I think that could work.
Hey, but Claudio, you guys...
But they can interchange.
But you guys need to prepare for AFCON, eh, Claudio? AFCON is coming in end of January, and Mane and Salah are both in AFCON.
Watch them both land up in the final. Watch them land up in the final against each other. Stay the whole tournament.
Yeah, also Crystal Palace is also in trouble, man. Crystal Palace have like 10 players from
Crystal Palace are in shit just because they got Patrick Vieira as the coach. I'm telling you now, that team, this is the season Palace get relegated. And I'm not discrediting Vieira. I'm just saying the man doesn't have the credentials to come in here in the Premier League and keep a side like this with minimal resources and a side that's already, where are they? Like, where are they?
Watch him.
So you say
Captain,
I'm going to go back.
Vieira.
You should be better
Watch
with a
him.
top 10 team, rather.
Watch him, Claudio. Captain
Don't you
Vieira.
say-
Watch him.
That's what you say.
I think, what are we going to say by the end of the season, this coming season? People are going to say, shit, how did that old man Hodgson with the walking stick manage to get what he got out of this players? Just by sticking to classic Berea Park rules. Keep
Guys,
it tight to the back,
I
same
told you,
Allardyce,
you
play it
need,
long.
you need to watch that documentary I told you, Eagles Will Dare. Watch it.
On Amazon. I haven't watched it.
It's on Amazon.
I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, watch it. It's
Eagles-
really good. It's a
Eagles will say-
5-part. Yeah, and they were like very close to going out of like sort of business in total, and then they got promoted with Zaha. It's quite a cool story, but then it also just shows you that their model is probably still the same. Very, very sort of tight in terms of their spending. So I agree with Claudio. It might be interesting to see.
But also,
he
Palace
does
have a good youth setup, actually, if you think about it, eh?
They do.
Yeah.
What's that young
Zaha-
player? He's quite a-
Zaha, Wan-Bissaka.
There's a South African boy there as well.
You know what I mean?
South African centre back.
Tavares or something. like that, right?
Tavares, yeah. He was
Yeah.
supposed to go to the Olympics as well. But I don't know what happened there. Bit of
Also,
a
guys,
mess.
I think in the coming episodes, we're going to have to start putting our fantasy teams together and start talking about our drafts.
Okay.
Okay, I think in
Okay.
August then.
Yep. We can do that. All right, gentlemen, final thoughts before we bounce?
For me,
Keegan
there's just
Dolly
last.
Keegan Dolly side for Kaizer Chiefs. That's my final thought.
Another talent, our talent.
Yeah.
Coming back from Europe,
back.
finishing their
Cut
careers.
back.
Yeah, come on, man. That guy was hot in France. Now he's just gone down there.
Injuries killed him, man.
So what, is he
Nah,
going to
just
stay injury-free here?
He has to.
team.
He has to. He has to. Man. He has
And you
to
didn't
improve.
speak about Cole Alexander there.
Okay, yeah, and Cole Alexander, he's 32 years old. He's not exciting, but Keegan Dolly is exciting one, man.
I thought you were going to say Cole Alexander, young, exciting, young talent.
No ways, man. He's 32 years old. Come on, man. We've signed nine players in total, so that's a lot. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Jeez, dude. Only in South Africa does that happen. One side signs like 9-10 players, and it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
many teams did that too.
Chelsea did it. Chelsea signed 7 last season, so don't forget.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
That's also true. That's also
Hectic.
true. Okay,
All right.
gentlemen, have a fantastic evening. I'll see 2 of you on Thursday. Nick's
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah,
on a farm.
Yeah, Nick's gonna be
I'll be there.
Nick's gonna be serious picking some fruits.
So I didn't even realize you fly to Cape Town and then you got to get in a car for 2 hours. So
Damn.
it's going to be a long journey, man.
Good luck. Good luck, man. 4.5 hour trip. Good luck.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
All right,
Remember,
gents.
guys, if you don't know what to be,
Be
Be
variety.
Cool.
that's it.